Today, we step into one of the most heartbreaking chapters, the stories of American female celebrities whose lives were slowly stolen by Alzheimer's disease. These were not peaceful farewells. They were long, devastating battles where memories faded, voices quieted, and families, friends and fans stood helplessly as extraordinary women slipped away. In this video, we remember the women whose brilliance outlived the illness that tried to erase them. Rita Hayworth, the beloved American actress and dancer who brought unmatched grace, sensuality, and emotional depth to generations of moviegoers, passed away on May 14, 1987, at the age of 68 after a long and heartbreaking struggle with early-onset Alzheimer's disease. The illness first crept into her life in the late 1960s as small memory lapses, mood changes, and bouts of confusion. But because so little was known about Alzheimer's at the time, many around her mistook the symptoms for stress, exhaustion, or drinking problems. Over the next decade, the disease advanced silently, eroding her once sharp mind and forcing her to withdraw from the public eye, ending her ability to work and slowly taking from her the independence and dignity she had fought for since childhood. By the late 1970s, she needed constant care, and her daughter, Princess Yasmin Aga Khan, moved her into a quiet apartment in Manhattan, where she spent her final years surrounded by caregivers who tried to protect her privacy as she faded away. Born Margarita Carmen Consino on October 17, 1918, in Brooklyn to Spanish and Irish-American dancer parents, Rita was introduced to the stage before she could read, rehearsing for hours under her father's strict training and performing with her family in clubs and theaters across the United States and Mexico. This demanding upbringing shaped both the fluid grace and the deep vulnerability that would later mesmerize audiences on screen. After Columbia Pictures transformed her look and name from Rita Consino to Rita Hayworth, she rose from bit parts to international superstardom, becoming the face of wartime pin-up posters and winning worldwide acclaim with her iconic performance as the smoldering Gilda opposite Glenn Ford in 1946, as well as dazzling dance routines alongside Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly. Behind the glamour, she endured controlling marriages, custody battles, relentless press intrusion, and private heartbreak. Yet she remained a shy, gentle woman who longed for stability and love. Even as Alzheimer's disease cut short her public life, her openness and her daughter's advocacy helped transform global awareness of the condition at a time when it was still rarely discussed. Today, Rita Hayworth's legacy lives not only in her timeless films and breathtaking dance numbers, but also in the courage and compassion that emerged from her struggle, making her a lasting symbol of resilience as well as beauty. Estelle Getty, the beloved American actress and comedian who brought warmth, biting wit, and extraordinary charm to generations of audiences, passed away on July 22, 2008, just 3 days before her 85th birthday. For many years, she had been suffering from Lewy body dementia, a cruel, progressive brain disease often likened to Alzheimer's that slowly erases memory and robs speech and movement. It first showed itself in the late seasons of The Golden Girls, when she began forgetting lines and needed cue cards after decades of flawless stage work. And over time, it deepened until she could no longer recognize even her closest friends before finally slipping away peacefully in her Hollywood Hills home surrounded by family. Born Estelle on July 25, 1923, on New York's Lower East Side to Polish Jewish immigrants Charles and Sarah Scher, she grew up above her father's glass shop with her sister Roz and brother David, earned the nickname Eddie as a child, and fell in love with performing when her father took the family to vaudeville shows. After graduating from Seward Park High School, she worked as a secretary while raising 2 sons with her husband Arthur Gettleman, performing in community and off-Broadway theaters at night, and dreaming of a break that might never come. That break finally arrived in her late 50s when Harvey Fierstein wrote her a part in Torch's Song Trilogy, which led directly to her being cast as the tart-tongued, white-haired Sophia Petrillo on NBC's The Golden Girls. Using wigs, makeup, and frumpy clothes to age herself into a believable octogenarian, she was actually younger than her on-screen daughter Bea Arthur. Estelle turned Sophia into one of television's most unforgettable mothers, winning an Emmy and a Golden Globe and changing how older women were seen on screen. She went on to reprise the role in The Golden Palace, Empty Nest, Blossom, and Nurses, and to appear in films like Mask, Mannequin, Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot, and Stuart Little. Off-screen, she wrote an autobiography, released an exercise video for seniors, and devoted time and money to HIV/AIDS causes and senior housing projects, caring personally for friends and family members who were ill, even as ill health forced her retirement and slowly dimmed her memory. Estelle Getty remained the same tiny dynamo with a big heart, and today her legacy of laughter, perseverance, and love lives on in every rerun of Sophia Petrillo and in the millions of fans who still feel like she's family. Irene Papas, the legendary Greek actress and singer whose face and voice came to embody the soul of ancient tragedy for modern audiences, passed away on September 14, 2022, at the age of 93, after spending her final years bravely battling Alzheimer's disease and living quietly under the care of her family in Kifisia. Her death marked the closing of a chapter in cinema and theater where she had been a towering figure for more than half a century, bringing a rare combination of strength, beauty, and emotional depth to every role she played. Born Irene Lelikou on September 3, 1929, in the small village of Kiliomodi near Corinth, To parents who were both teachers, she grew up surrounded by stories of classical drama and began performing as a child, eventually training at the National Theatre of Greece in Athens. From those humble beginnings, she rose to international stardom, starring in over 70 films, including the war epic The Guns of Navarone, where she portrayed a fearless resistance fighter, and the unforgettable Zorba the Greek, where as the lonely widow she gave one of cinema's most hauntingly silent yet powerful performances. She became the face of modern Greek tragedy through her title roles in Antigone and Electra, her searing Clytemnestra in Iphigenia, and her spellbinding Helen of Troy in The Trojan Women alongside Katharine Hepburn and Vanessa Redgrave, each time embodying fierce independence, dignity, and raw emotion. Even beyond film, her contralto voice poured through albums of Greek songs and Byzantine hymns with Vangelis and Mikis Theodorakis, while her outspoken stand against Greece's military junta forced her into exile, but made her a symbol of artistic courage. Though she later took on supporting roles and retreated from the screen, her presence remained magnetic, a tall, striking woman who inspired generations of actors and audiences alike. Irene Papas left behind more than performances. She left an image of Greece itself, proud, tragic, passionate, and timeless, ensuring that her legacy as one of the greatest interpreters of classical heroines and one of the most powerful female stars of international cinema will live on far beyond her passing.